Hey everyone, welcome to Direct to Disaster. So, besides being a game collector and a movie critic, I'm also a comics fan. Admittedly, this is a new area for me. Sure, I read a few graphic novels and collections of newspaper strips since I was a kid, but it's only been this past year when I started actively reading single issues and trades of actual comics. And I'm really enjoying it. The comic world is a very different medium from movies or games, and it's fun to see how a collection of sketches and word balloons can create interesting universes. It's a way for authors and artists to tell stories that more mainstream media like movies and television wouldn't be able to portray or that would reject outright due to expense or content. So whenever I'm out hunting for something that I can talk about or that I love to collect, I keep an eye out for different comics or continuations of what I own, since the great comics of the world are fun, well-made, and sometimes even philosophical or educational in nature while still being very entertaining. And then there are the comics where you have to ask, why do these exist? Since I want to devote this show to movies and games, we're only rarely going to focus on comics. I'd like to leave that to other shows that are more familiar and devoted to the medium, and unless I start a spin-off show, I want to stick with the areas that I'm most familiar with. However, if there's a comic that's just so bad or insane that I have no choice but to feature it, then it will be here. With that said, Charlie Valor. The Complicated World of Charlie Valor is a comic created by the Brotherhood Mutual Insurance Company, which insures various churches and other religious foundations in America. It's written mainly for youth workers to teach their groups lessons on various secular moral topics, like bullying, group activities, and stranger danger, but anyone interested can get free copies of all comics from their website. And yet I, in my infinite wisdom, bought these comics at a local thrift store for 50 cents. I was kind of debating whether to look at these. On the one hand, they're free giveaways meant to be used as lesson material, and their hearts are in the right place when they try to teach the subjects they're based around. Even though they're put out by a religious institution, anyone can read them and not be alienated by different religious teachings, so high kudos to their trying to appeal to everyone, whether they agree or disagree with their belief system. On the other hand, they miss the mark pretty badly with how they try to teach the lessons. Let's look at Charlie Valor, issues 1 and 2, and you'll see. The cover to the first issue looks really good. The cover's well sketched with an interesting color scheme, sort of like an indie album cover or a logo that an independent hip company would have. We have our main character front and center, with the supporting cast behind him and an awesome superhero flying up to battle these giant 1930s box robots marching towards the group. It's well drawn, it doesn't feel crowded, and even the oversized logo doesn't distract from the action. The only problem I can see is that everyone for some reason is facing right when the robots are coming from the left background. Like there's something even more menacing than giant robots they're scared of. What's going on? Did Godzilla decide to invade at the exact same time as the robots, and everyone's more concerned about him since he has more street cred? We open to a villain who kind of looks like a mix between Fester Adams and the main character from Knock Knock, standing in front of the robots from the cover. My plan for vengeance is almost complete. Yes, my plan to flood the world with Marvin the Android replicas is nearly complete. Nobody will be able to withstand their pessimistic whining. Wah-ha-ha-ha! We then cut to our main characters in what looks like their high school. Hey Charlie, what's up? Hey, Burrito. Wait, his name's Burrito? Okay, I'm sure that's not his real name, and it's just a nickname used by his friends, but why Burrito? What about this kid screams Burrito? Is it the hair? Does his hair for some reason look like a mound of refried beans? What? I know I'm harping on this, but the nickname doesn't make any sense. Okay, on the official site, it says that his name's actually Theodore, and his nickname comes from the fact that he loves Taco Bell. Well, thanks for clearing that up, since nowhere in any of these comics do they show any sign of him being a fan of Mexican food or even eating a burrito. Isn't it great when a comic the character's supposed to be introduced in doesn't give any information about the character? Anyway, their conversation's interrupted when Charlie and Burrito both get text messages. You have won a free iPad. Click here to win. Actually, the text contains a message about Charlie's friend Molly, which everyone in the hallway immediately starts forwarding. And our villain, who the back of the comic introduces as Edgar Greymatter, is over in the corner saying, "That'll teach her." I know they meant this as a semi-intimidating scene, but all I can focus on is the Monster High logo on his phone. If he pops up in a later issue wearing an Equestria Girls t-shirt, that's it for me. Charlie refuses to pass on the rumor message, since it's totally trashing her rep, but Burrito and this other girl, who the comic names Kate, send the message, saying that it's funny and she'll get over it, and thus are created a new generation of Twitter commenters. Meanwhile, Greymatter reveals that this was all his evil plan, so he touches an app labeled, Evil Plan, available now at Google Play, and activates his robots, which were somehow powered by the teenagers forwarding the message. I'm going to say that again. The giant robots are powered by forwarding a text message. You know, even as a kid, I thought the idea in Monsters, Inc. was a little far-fetched, using children's screams and laughs to somehow create power for an entire city, but this comic just made that scenario more believable. So we cut to Charlie Valor, who it turns out is an operative working for Captain Falcon. It's totally Captain Falcon. Commander Talon.
Oh yeah, like that's any better.
Also, it looks like he's wearing Judge Dredd's helmet for some reason. Anyway, Commander Talon reports that there's a massive robot army on the move, which Charlie puts on hold to answer his phone. On the other end is Molly, the girl who the rumor was about, who says that the message wasn't true. We never find out what the message was, but we're never given any background on these characters anyway, so I guess it wouldn't have made any difference. By the way, you gotta love the design of Charlie's mouth. Don't bother drawing lips or teeth, just put a half-opened Pac-Man mouth on him and call it good. Because all people talk like this, right? So somehow Commander Talon figures out that the source of the text message and the robots is the same, and that they're marching towards the school, which is holding a football game that night. "I'm departing the moon base on Zarkonis 12 now. I'll be making the jump to transgalactic uber speed. I project my arrival to be in 1307.7 metafrons. What? I'll be there in 5 minutes. Then why didn't you just say that? So Edgar Greymatter arrives at the game, and since apparently nobody was told that there's a horde of giant killer robots on the loose in the Flea town, it's a packed stadium. "Yes, it was I that sent the text about Molly, but you all forwarded it and powered my evil robots." How? How does forwarding a text message power 10-story robots? I'm sure whatever explanation you give us is bull, but it would be nice to have some idea as to what's going on in your head, wouldn't it? However, his gloating is interrupted when Commander Talon shows up. "Not so fast, Greymatter. This is the end of your texting treachery." Boy, that's a phrase I didn't think I'd hear today. Then his cyborg Falcon appears, which the comic says is named Kazak because that's the sound it makes, but I'm sure this is the sound we were expecting from a metallic bird. Kazak grabs Greymatter and drops him on the ground, leaving Commander Talon to kick some robo-rear.
Falcon punch! Falcon kick! Yes! Show me your moves!
Captain! Falcon! Captain! Falcon!
So Molly finds Edgar and demands to know why he wanted to destroy everything. "Because you said your mom wouldn't let you go to the Comic-Con with me." "Because you said your mom wouldn't let you go to the Comic-Con with me." Worst villain motivation ever. So Greymatter's arrested, everyone says sorry for the text message, and Burrito puts on his best Charlie Brown smile and asks, "Would your mom let you go to Comic-Con with me?" And so the comic ends with Charlie playfully slugging him. Hundreds of people are dead and the city's in ruins. Issue 2's cover is also very well drawn, with a smoother style than last issue. The main characters are all standing near the top, reacting to something as Commander Talon soars across the cover with Kazak right behind him. And below them are these pigs that look like the guards from Jabba's palace, but again the characters are reacting to something off to the side instead of the villains below. Seriously, what's so special about the right side of the screen that it makes everybody forget about certain... Just a few more months. Also, I noticed that the ab outlines on the characters are bleeding over onto their shirts. Guess they were using Strongbad's ab-abber incorrectly. We open on a Batman knockoff named Pterodactyl Avenger fighting off a team of werewolves.
Try all you want, evil society of werewolves. You'll never guess my secret identity. Yes, you'll never guess it. I've taken every precaution to ensure that my true identity is never revealed to anyone. Nobody in the universe can ever...
CEO Terry Avengerson. Dude, you're a multi-billionaire who can afford to have all these gadgets. Pterodactyl Avenger is your bodyguard, even though the two of you are never around at the same time, and your superhero name is based on your surprisingly ironic real-life name. Did you really think that one of the most famous people in the universe wouldn't be suspected of being a superhero? And you had property of Terry Avengerson sewn in the back of your mask.
Dang it!
But it turns out it was all just a fantasy by Burrito, who's told to get ready for a lock-in at their community church. Meanwhile, Charlie is on his computer talking to Commander Talon, who's a little worried about Charlie attending an event with over 50 other teenagers. Our youth group does this every year. Besides, all my friends will be there.
Is that supposed to reassure me? I'll send Kazak to keep an eye on things.
Yes, because sending an alien cyborg to a crowded event is the best way to make sure a relatively harmless campout is kept safe. There's absolutely no chance of any of your enemies detecting your robot and going after it, putting a lot of kids in danger. Oh look, your enemies have detected your robot and are going after it, putting a lot of kids in danger. As this gang of space pigs, who the comic says is named Dr. Sprocket, Muffin, Slobby, and Malice Hogswire, intercepted the communication and see this as a chance to recapture Kazak.
This, my foul-smelling lackeys, is a golden opportunity to get our old messenger bird back. New and improved!
And an asterisk next to it tells us that they are indeed the bird's former owners and to see their website for the rest of the story. You know those comics that whenever a character is referencing a previous event, it says, see other characters comic issue 173, or whatever? At least those are the same medium with previously established events. This is just making stuff up on the spot and saying, go find it somewhere else. It's like me saying, boy, this comic reminds me of the day I aced my ACT. What, you don't remember me telling you about it? I wrote it down in my blog. That I haven't updated in years, that I don't think exists anymore. So go check it out for the full story! So we cut to the community church, where everyone's gathering for the lock-in. And we also see that for this event of more than 50 teenagers, they got 2 entire chaperones to keep an eye on things, who just blow off collecting any forms or emergency contacts from any of the kids. Okay, this is the point of the comic, to raise awareness about understaffing and poor leadership at these activities, so it's more aimed at the youth leaders than the kids. But are we really expected to believe that at an event that's held every year, the people behind planning the event went, how many people do we need to make sure that the dozens of teenagers locked in one building don't kill each other? Nah, just make it 2. And don't bother giving them any emergency numbers or help if things get out of hand. I mean, it's not like we're gonna get sued by a mob of angry parents if half the group ends up dead by morning. Now, excuse me, I need to go to my other job, staff manager at Arkham Asylum.
Meanwhile, from outside Earth's atmosphere, there descends a bird of prey with unparalleled technology, the likes of which Earth has yet to imagine.
composed of an alloy completely distinct from Earth's periodic table of elements.
Cesium francolithic mixyalbidium rixy-dixy-doxy-dexydroxide.
Equipped with a nanofabricated light-refracting cloaking device, galactic facial recognition software, and gyroscopic flight stabilization. And yet, extremely nearsighted.
Okay. One. I'll give the comic 1. That was pretty funny.
Anyway, the pigs arrive at the church, lock the band in the closet, and steal their instruments so that they can impersonate the band. And the youth leaders, again showing just how capable they are, don't question why the church hired a band comprised of anthropomorphic pigs with body armor. Especially when they mess with the electrical system and turn the stage into a Rammstein concert. From there, the event rapidly degenerates into chaos. Somebody starts a food fight, they pull American Gladiator sticks out of nowhere, and a lot of the kids get sick from the food and stress. And what are the two chaperones doing while this is going on? They stand on the sidelines and ask each other what's going on. Yep, they could try to break it up, or call the police, or at least help the kids who are getting hurt, but nope. Just stand there and drink your coffee. Not like anything that needs your attention is going on. So in the middle of all this, Commander Talon calls in to check on Charlie. Why didn't he just decide to do that instead of sending his bird after him? And Charlie tells him about the situation. I sent Kazak. Where is he? I don't know, but I think I saw a pig with wings fly by. Commander Talon tells Charlie to create a distraction and lure the pigs out of the building, so Charlie and friends trick the teens into running into the kitchen, while Burrito runs outside with the unconscious Kazak they found, the pigs in hot pursuit. And it's here where we get our first smart person in these comics, a girl calling her parents and asking to go home. Shouldn't somebody else, due to the out-of-control situation and disaster, should have started to call the kids' parents and the police, like, say, the youth leaders? Seriously, they're given one job. Make sure they don't kill each other, and they can't even do that. So outside, at least I think it's outside, this comic doesn't exactly splurge for backgrounds, Commander Talon finally arrives and proceeds to beat up the gang of evil pigs. And seeing as how I've used up my Captain Falcon quota, allow me to use this instead. So he somehow manages to tear up the sidewalk, wrap it around the pigs, and fly off into space with them in tow. What'll it be, hogs? Back to Mrs. B's farm for some hard time? Or maybe straight to the frying pan?
He's gonna butcher them. If they don't die of asphyxiation first, how are they even breathing?
Back on Earth, we see the two youth leaders talking about the event and what they probably shouldn't have let happen. Yeah, too little too late, guys. Meanwhile, the kids are finishing up cleaning up the church, and some are calling their parents to pick them up, wanting to tell them what happened. And then these alien pigs show up as our band, and they blow up the stage, and they gave us these awesome weapons to fight each other with. I mean, I gave Jake a concussion, but he's fine now. And then this robotic bird flies in through the window, and somebody shouted pizza, and... Mom? Mom, are you still there? Hello? And so our comic ends with Molly wondering where the band is, and the janitor finding them locked in the supply closet. No doubt smelling pretty bad after being locked in the closet for 15 hours. So that was Charlie Valor issues 1 and 2, and yeah, these comics are junk. We'll forgive the briefness and the amateur art, since they were made by a non-profit organization as teaching guides, and get to why these don't work. There are no relatable situations. If we spread rumors, some mad scientist will let robots loose in our city. Not having enough chaperones at an event means that alien pigs will crash the party. We're never shown realistic consequences of the characters' actions. and the problems they try to show aren't really concluded either. Charlie calls Commander Talon, he flies in, beats up the bad guy, and the day is saved. Okay, did anyone learn anything? Was the cause of the problem ever resolved? How can we avoid making the same mistakes? And since the lead characters are given no personalities or roles, how can we follow their example to fix the problem? If the comic can't even bother to give us their names, why should we be interested? Overall, it's just a pseudo PSA comic, not executed very well. We'll take a look at the other comics in the future, just because I'm curious if they get better or worse in their 7-issue run. Till then, thanks for watching, and see you on the next episode of Direct to Disaster.
Now, pigs in space!